The annual Henderson family dinner at Le Cirque dripped with legal prestige. Crystal stemware reflected light while servers carried plates that cost more than my first month's salary. My sister Margaret adjusted her senior counsel pin while Dad touched his managing partner nameplate, a reminder of his 40 years at Henderson and Associates. I checked my phone briefly as another message from my acquisitions team lit up the screen. Tomorrow's announcement would shake the legal world, but for now I let them bask in their perceived superiority. Still at that small firm's front desk, Sarah? Margaret's voice carried the familiar note of pity. I tucked my phone away, thinking of the merger documents waiting for signatures. The work is going well. Work. Mom sighed, adjusting her society pearls. Darling, you had an associate position waiting at Henderson. Your sister makes partner next month. Your father built this firm. And you're answering phones. Actually, I'm developing new approaches to international law, I corrected, watching the clock. 14 hours until the merger announcement. Margaret laughed, her court victory bracelet catching the light. Approaches? Please. Real law happens at major firms. When was the last time you even handled a case? Last week, actually. Though they didn't need to know it was the merger that would absorb their firm. A real case, Margaret pressed. Not some small claims filing. I checked my watch. The final contracts had been signed at midnight. Our work speaks for itself. Of course it does, dear, Mom said with practiced condescension. But you had such potential. Margaret's department bills millions annually. At your age I was hosting judges' dinners. And you're still doing clerical work. Dad adjusted his partner pin. The Henderson name means something in law. 3 generations of legal excellence. And you're wasting it on whatever it is you're doing. What we're doing is transforming legal practice, I replied quietly, thinking of the global empire we'd built. Transforming. Margaret snorted. My department transforms law every day. Real cases, real precedents, real influence. How many major clients have you even worked with? My phone buzzed, another message about tomorrow's announcement. Everything was in place. You know, Margaret continued, warming to her favorite topic, we need someone to manage document filing. Entry level, of course, but at least it's legitimate law. Thank you, but I'm satisfied with my current position. I glanced at the time. The news would break in exactly 3 hours. Satisfied. Dad's voice carried across the restaurant. Hendersons aren't satisfied with mediocrity. We shape law. We make precedent. We don't waste time on administrative tasks. The maitre d' approached our table nervously. Mr. Henderson, there's an urgent call from the Bar Association. Tell them I'll call back, Dad waved dismissively. We were just discussing Sarah's career choices. Actually, sir, they're asking for Miss Sarah Henderson. The table fell silent. There must be some mistake, Margaret said quickly. Sarah doesn't handle Bar Association matters. She's a receptionist. I stood slowly, smoothing my simple suit. Actually, I handle them quite frequently. Especially since our firm became the largest legal practice in the world. Largest? What? Dad's partner pin slipped from his lapel. The restaurant screen suddenly came alive with breaking news. Global law merger. Youngest female managing partner acquires Henderson and Associates. While you were all focused on traditional prestige, I continued, gathering my belongings, we were revolutionizing legal practice. That receptionist position you mocked? It was the launching point for the most innovative law firm in history. But you answer phones, Margaret whispered. Yes, while building a legal empire that just acquired your firm. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a press conference to prepare for. The media is waiting. The press conference venue buzzed with energy 3 hours later. Front row seats that once hosted legal royalty now held reporters from every major network. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows I could see my family arriving, their faces still ashen from dinner. Miss Henderson? My chief counsel appeared with a tablet. The merger details are final. Would you like to review them before the announcement? I nodded, scanning the documents. While they'd been chasing billable hours, we'd been quietly revolutionizing legal practice. Every late night at our small firm had advanced global law beyond what they deemed possible. Dad entered first, his managing partner pin conspicuously absent. Margaret followed, her senior counsel status suddenly seeming provincial against our global reach. Mom clutched her society pearls, her influence in legal circles about to undergo a seismic shift. "Let's begin," I announced, taking the podium, a position Dad had dominated for decades. "Today marks a new era in legal practice." The screens behind me lit up with our merger metrics. Dad's face tightened as he recognized innovative approaches he'd dismissed as amateur work years ago. "This merger isn't just another acquisition," I continued. "It's a complete reimagining of how law firms operate." Margaret shifted uncomfortably as my next slide showed our global impact. Traditional firms versus our new methods. The numbers were unprecedented. "We've achieved what traditional firms couldn't," I stated, watching my sister's legal confidence crumble. "More importantly, we've made justice accessible while maintaining excellence." Mom's perfectly manicured hands trembled. How many times had she bragged about Henderson and Associates' exclusive client list? "Furthermore," I continued, "we're implementing our innovative practice model worldwide. Every office, every jurisdiction will operate under our new approach." Dad touched his empty lapel nervously. He knew what this meant. "This naturally changes the legal landscape," I announced. "The traditional approach of hierarchical firms is obsolete. We've democratized legal excellence. But prestigious firms have always," Margaret started, "been exclusive and inefficient?" I finished. "That ends today. Our metrics show better results than all major firms combined." The reporters and the legal world watching via livestream nodded in understanding. They'd seen the numbers. "Questions?" I asked, knowing there would be many. Dad raised his hand slowly, his legal authority visibly diminishing. "The practice model is fully documented," I cut in. "Every innovation, every approach, every success verified by bar associations worldwide." Margaret's face flushed. "You can't possibly have built this from a reception desk. You're just just a lawyer who revolutionized legal practice," I corrected. "The results speak for themselves, Margaret. We're more effective than anything Henderson and Associates has ever achieved." Mom found her voice. "But the Henderson legal legacy will be stronger than ever," I assured her. "Just not in the way you imagined. Our legacy won't be measured in billable hours, but in impact, excellent legal service that's actually accessible." The presentation continued for another hour. I outlined our practice model, our global strategy, and our vision for the future. With each detail, I watched my family's legal worldview crumble. After the conference, Margaret lingered, staring at the metrics. "These results, they're really verified?" "Completely," I replied, adjusting a display. "That reception desk you mocked? It just changed legal history. And my department? We'll need to adapt," I said firmly. "Law isn't about prestige anymore, Margaret. It's about innovative service." Dad approached next, his suit looking suddenly dated. "Major firms have always led legal practice. Major firms have led us to focus on exclusivity while ignoring accessibility," I corrected. "That ends now." "We're still legal leaders," he protested weakly. "And I'm still working at a desk," I reminded him. "One that just produced the biggest innovation since digital filing. Interesting how that worked out, isn't it?" Mom tried one last time. "The legal community is already adopting our methods," I finished. "That position you ridiculed? It's revolutionized legal practice. Every major firm is scrambling to follow our lead." The venue slowly emptied, leaving my family staring at the merger announcement. Their exclusive legal world had been upended by the daughter they dismissed as just a receptionist. "The Bar Association Gala is next month," I announced, heading for the door. "Don't be late. Oh, and Margaret, you might want to update your business cards. The new letterhead says, Global Legal Innovation. I'll have our branding guide sent to your office." 6 months later, I stood in my expanded headquarters, no longer a small firm, but a gleaming legal innovation center spanning 40 floors. The space that had once been mocked as reception work now housed the world's most innovative legal teams, all focused on revolutionizing global practice. My phone buzzed, another message from Margaret, her 8th this week. Like the others, it could wait. Family dynamics had become secondary to transforming international law. Ms. Henderson? My innovation director appeared on the smart glass. The global impact data is in. Case resolution time has dropped 70% across participating jurisdictions. I nodded, reviewing the holographic statistics floating before me. Traditional law firms were rapidly becoming obsolete. The reception desk had proven what I'd known all along: legal excellence could be both innovative and accessible. Also, she added, your sister's department requested another meeting about our practice methods. Of course they did. Since the merger, Margaret had been desperately trying to align her team with our philosophy. Her traditional approach now seemed antiquated compared to our innovative methods. Schedule them for next week, I decided, after we announced the AI-assisted case management system. The door opened, admitting Mom in her newly acquired legal consultant outfit. Sarah, darling, these results are extraordinary. Just the beginning, I replied, manipulating a 3D model of our next innovation. Wait until you see what's coming. She watched the legal teams below, working seamlessly with our revolutionary systems. We never understood, did we? What you were building here. No, I agreed, marking another milestone in case resolution. You were too focused on prestige to see the future of legal practice. Your sister. Mom hesitated. Margaret's struggling with the new methods. Change is difficult, I acknowledged, especially when you've built your career on an outdated model. But she's welcome to join our innovation program. The intercom pulsed. Ms. Henderson, the International Legal Summit is ready for your keynote. In the auditorium, my family sat among industry leaders and legal pioneers. Margaret looked uncomfortable in her visitor's badge, a far cry from her former senior counsel status. Dad kept touching his empty lapel, still processing how his receptionist daughter had transformed modern law. Let's begin, I announced, activating the holographic display. Today's topic: democratizing legal excellence. The space filled with real-time data from jurisdictions worldwide, showing the unprecedented success of our innovative approach. As you can see, I continued, traditional legal hierarchies were holding us back. By prioritizing accessibility over prestige, we've achieved what generations of law firms couldn't. Margaret stopped taking notes, her department's achievements suddenly seeming insignificant. Dad's hands trembled as impact data showed traditional approaches becoming professionally obsolete. Next quarter, I announced, we launch the Global Legal Initiative, bringing our methods to underserved communities worldwide. Mom's carefully maintained composure wavered. How many times had she dismissed my simple work as beneath the Henderson name? Questions? I asked, concluding the presentation. The room remained silent until Margaret raised her hand tentatively. Yes, Ms. Henderson? Your practice model. She began, her voice humbled. Would you teach me? I want to understand how you did this. I studied my sister, seeing genuine interest replace her legal arrogance. Of course. That's what innovators do. We share knowledge, we collaborate, we improve access to justice. The irony brought knowing smiles to my legal team's faces. After the summit, Dad lingered behind. Sarah, your innovation, it's more influential than our entire firm's history. That's why we're making it accessible, I replied. Law isn't about prestige anymore. It's about impact. Standing in my office later that evening, I watched teams of lawyers work on our next breakthrough, each one following the methodology that had revolutionized legal practice. The reception desk had become a beacon of legal innovation.